And event 26 here at the Box Hill Classic, the final event of the evening, the mixed 3,000 metres e-race with hip number 1, Andrew Crossley of Richmond. Number 3, Zephon Goltz McSweeney of Williamstown. And we have Thomas MacArthur of South Bendigo, Joel Imbriano of Diamond Valley, Jared Cooper of Malvern, Oliver Scott, Mentone, Millicent Fraser, Box Hill, Jack Terrell, unattached, Sajan Diol of Box Hill, Cooper Dimtrenko, Williamstown, Marcus Sidieris, unattached, Bailey Barrett, unattached, Will Leslie, Box Hill, Lachlan Stewart, Old Scotch, William Davies, Mornington, Cody Taggart of Eureka, Justin Jeffrey, Box Hill, Anthony Page, Doncaster, Hamish McLaren, unattached, and to round out the field of 22 athletes, Ella Mangan Walker, also unattached. And the pace that they're after tonight is 9 minutes and 30 seconds, 9:30, about 3 minutes 10 per kilometre, or if you're looking at the lights on the track, it's just out the front of the green ones. The PBs do range from 9:30 into the 10 minutes, so as expected, the athletes have strung across the track at these early stages, being led out by our pacemaker, Patrick Matthews, who has been our pacemaker for a number of the races tonight. So it looks to be Cody Taggart from Eureka leading the way, just sitting on the inside of Patrick Matthews, our pacemaker. So Taggart followed by McLaren, the unattached athlete in the black. And a few of our Box Hill athletes, our home track athletes in that pack as well. Right on the blue and the green lights, heading for a sub 9:30 if they can keep the pace even for the next 6 laps. So settling in on the back straight as they start to bunch up a little bit. It's still Taggart from Eureka leading the way, nipping at the heels of our pacemaker. So Taggart, McLaren, Davies is there as well. The athlete from Mornington, he's thrown himself into the mix. Stewart of Old Scotch is there as well. From Mentone, Oliver Scott. Cooper Dimtrenko of Williamstown, just off the back of that main pack. So the mass of athletes out the front in that green and blue zone are on 9:30 pace, which would be a PB for that field or for that pack out the front. As the pack seems to thicken up at the head of the field, whether the pace is slowing or the athletes towards the back are just bunching up and getting that little bit faster, they are jostling for a bit of position coming through, rounding that back of the steeplechase and the discus cage here at Box Hill track. So coming through 4 laps to go. Taggart, Leslie, Scott, they are your 1, 2, 3. Imbriano throwing himself into the mix, the athlete in the green singlet who's following the green pacing lights around. McLaren, our unattached athlete, is there as well. He's in his all black, getting lost in the darkness of the back straight just a little bit now. But Taggart in the yellow singlet from Eureka, He's sat on the heels of our pacer in Matthews from the gun. And with a bit less than 4 laps to go, he is still there. Some athletes now slipping just into that red zone, but it doesn't matter too much. They're still on around a 9:30 pace, which would be a PB for the field. It's all a matter of how many of these athletes can hold on over the final stages. So Taggart, Leslie, Imbriano. There hasn't been too much change of lead or positions in the past few laps. Scott is right there as well. Cooper of Malvern is trying to put himself into a challenging position. Just running a little bit wide around the bend is Cooper from Mentone. So if almost a K to go. The athletes are still bunched on that back straight. It's a race of about 5 or 6. Can be anyone's win from here as they all sit in that green zone in the pacing lights. None of them in the blue anymore and a few more in the red than there first were. But as our pacer steps off the track, 3 laps to go, Taggart is in the lead and there's just a tiny, tiny gap that's being bridged behind him. Imbriano in the Diamond Valley kit, the green singlet, he's thrown himself into 3rd position. Jared Cooper of Malvern still running wide, needs to get himself in a better position as he does so in the front straight. Oliver Scott of Mentone sitting pretty in 2nd, following those green pacing lights as we get a feeling the pacing is just slowing ever so slightly as Scott does what he can to throw himself back into that blue zone, chasing that 9:30 with 2 laps to go. So Scott Taggart is not leading for the first time in this race. Imbriano throwing himself potentially into 2nd position as he gets up on the shoulder of Taggart as they go into the back straight. And we just see a bit more red on their shoes as we would like. Let's wheel them back into the green zone with 1.5 laps to go, probably slipping more to like a 9:32, 9:33 pace now with 1.5 laps to go for that leading pack of 5 or 6. They're still chasing PBs, but just how much of a PB will it be for some of these athletes? Taggart, Scott, Imbriano, Cooper, they're all in the mix with 500 metres to go. It might not be a sub 9:30 tonight unless they can pull off something special with a massive kick finish in the final stages, but they might still collect a PB. So 9:30 is that green zone, which they're just slipping short of now. Hamish McLaren, our unattached athlete, just takes the lead for the first time. Scott of Mentone, Imbriano and Cooper, they all charge to keep up. Davies of Mornington, he's in the mix as well. As it's McLaren is the best of them, extending his lead, doing his best to hang on to those green lights and run a low 9:30 for 3K. Let's see how many PBs we can get across the line in this final race at the Box Hill Classic. McLaren looking the best of them, getting himself back into that green zone. Davies from Mornington chasing hard. He's put himself from 5th to 2nd. Imbriano trying to hang on. Cooper doing his best as well, as is Scott from Mentone. But it's McLaren. Davies throwing himself into the lead in the final straight. It's all Davies. Can he go under 9:30? It looks like he can. Huge PB. William Davies of Mornington, followed by McLaren. Cooper, Imbriano, Scott, Leslie, Stewart, Taggart, doing all the leading in the early stages. Crossley, Golds, McSweeney, as all the athletes flood in to finish off this final race of the night here at the Box Hill Classic. Trying to collect themselves a PB for potentially what is the last track race of the season for most of these athletes. Jeffrey crossing the line. Terrell. Megan Walker. And to round out the field here at the Box Hill Classic, Millicent Fraser.
Congrats to all athletes who raced tonight. Big thank